Chris, we're not getting your audio at all. But we're getting all the players' audios.
Who wants to take over as referee? No.
Negative.
Excellent.
Testing, testing, testing. How about now?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
No.
You.
I think what it was when we had the snafu last thing, I had to turn off my mic to get it to work properly in Roll20, and for some reason it hadn't turned it back on when I changed all the other settings. So it seems like my audio and the crew audio is on a different channel, which is a bit odd because that's not how I set it up. But
you're coming through quite quiet on the stream.
That could be.
Yeah, and I think we are all pretty loud.
Okay.
Agreed.
I was going to turn up the gain on my mic. How about now? Testing. How's that?
Now you're very, very loud in Discord, but still quite.
Right. Okay. 1 second. I think I know what might help.
And I think Brian's right. We're pretty loud on the stream.
Right. That I can adjust. 1 second. Right, we go. Let's turn that down to about there. Let's turn that down to about there. Okay. Have a quick audio test just to make sure it's all fine. How about now? Because also what I hear and what you hear is different things. So.
You sound like you're at our level now.
Good. Okay. That's. I don't want to start tinkering with it too much more because otherwise it'll mess things up. So, yeah, I'll say we had audio issues last week, and it caused a few problems. Didn't realise until afterwards how many problems it had caused. So this is why I'm a little bit worried, only a little bit, about things now. So if it is really, really bad, please let me know because I literally have no way of knowing until either after the stream or somebody tells me. So, okay, enough about that. Also, got one other thing to talk about, and that is I need to do, the players knows I need to do a retcon on a semi-major plot point for the game. I was doing some research about something, specifically the Iconians, and I have based a lot of my game history on Star Trek Online because it had future events and things like that. However, I've realised there's a major time difference between when this campaign is set and when events happen in STO. So what I am doing is I am not so much ignoring that, but I'm just saying we're not worrying about that anymore. The downside to that is it does mean that officially there has been no contact with the Iconians since they disappeared 200,000 years ago, and the characters know what the Iconians look like, because of they've seen the records, they've seen the evolved forms from the Forge world and stuff like that. But essentially, everything else is to change. It's just that one particular thing I had to change it. Also, is anybody else's cameras flickering like mad, or is it just mine? Like the views, like every so often they all flicker.
It just flickered once.
Okay. I'm hoping Discord's not going to have another wibble, but if so, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. In the meantime, I'm going to now cover up the old chat program because so I don't get distracted, and we're going to start things a little bit differently today. It's something I've talked to the players about, but we want you to imagine that the old title sequence has come up, and rather than showing what we ended up on last time, it's about 200,000 years ago in a place in the Beta Quadrant called Iconia. There are dozens and dozens of fleets in orbit, bombarding, destroying shipyards, reducing the once mighty and powerful Iconian Empire to a handful of survivors. And it is to those survivors that we cut to right now. One of them, Tiket. Now I'll be playing Tiket in this scene. There are the other four of the last of the Iconian race, who are, what's the word I'm looking for? Who are trying to decide what to do in their final moments. The bombardments are carrying on, even this far underground. You can feel the ground shaking, the planet itself being practically torn apart by constant bombardments from weapons, from mass drivers, from wreckage from the orbiting star bases raining down upon your once magnificent home, which now lies in ruins. Your people destroyed. Your entire culture practically removed overnight. And now, one of your surviving members, Tiket, she is basically wanting to take her revenge on the lesser creatures who are bombarding and destroying their homeworld. So I'm just going to get into character. It's like, these creatures, they are pathetic. They have destroyed everything. They have destroyed our world. They have destroyed our way of life. They have destroyed my mate and my children. And you want to just sit here and die? There is a fury coming off of her that you have...
All things have to die someday.
Just turns to you. We are Iconians. We do not bow before these pathetic, disgusting creatures. We are their betters. We raise them up from the primitive beings that they are, and this is how they repay us.
If they're so pathetic, how come they were able to do all of this?
That is a very good question. And when I find out the answer, I will make them pay.
You will not find your answer when you're dead, Tiket. We have overstayed our welcome.
We are gods amongst insects. And they are...
We are 5. They are many. See reason.
I will see reason when I wipe them from the face of existence.
They were our children, and now they're risen above us. No, we are the insects. It's a simple equation. Our time has come as we have killed those who came before us. It's a circle of continuing.
I watched my mate burn in the initial attack. You watched your life mate destroyed and reduced to atoms before your very eyes, and you have compassion for them.
There is not compassion, but there is reason to get. Get your revenge when you're ready.
What good is revenge if we don't have any time for revenge? Our time is up. Nothing can stay forever.
We can. We are eternal. We are the first, and we shall be the last.
We brought about our own undoing. These creatures that we rose up and we treated as our inferiors. This is their revenge. If we seek revenge now, we just continue a cycle. It will never end. Our time has come. It is our doing.
Let them develop. Let them jump at each other's throats. And then can return.
As you're saying that, Taket is nodding. It's like, yes, I knew there was a reason I always liked you.
That doesn't make sense. They will also die someday, killed by those who will come after them.
Doesn't matter. We will still be there.
However,
and wait for a chance to strike. To return to what we once were.
We will never be what we once were.
No. We will be greater. And at this
we are a dying race. Let us welcome death as the gods we are with dignity and not get into some childish emotions like revenge and war and hate.
If you wish to stay here and die amongst the ashes of our civilization, so be it. Those who wish to come with me to build renew, come with me. The gates still work. We can rebuild.
I would build anew, but not in the way that you wish. If that is the only path, then I will remain.
I will die among my friends, here on my home.
Then I shall mourn you. Come. Let us leave this dying world to those who wish to be buried on it. And Ket just taps something on her arm, and you see behind her a gate form, rectangular, approximately 7 foot tall, but behind it you can see that there is what looks like the interior of an Iconian starship of some kind. And she steps through. As she stops just on the gateway's threshold, she turns to sister and she points to Andreas' character. We fought together. We bled together. I offer you just one last chance. Please do not spurn it. And she holds out her hand. Come with us.
Under one condition.
What?
If the time comes, don't let your emotions of revenge and hate overtake you, but take the path of wisdom and godhood. It's because we agree on one thing. We are gods. We should be better than that.
There is a very faint smile. It's like, you always did have the right words. But I fear that today it is not enough.
Then may you travel well. And I leave the bunker and head to the servers.
She turns and looks at the others remaining. What about you?
I am with you till the end. A long time away.
You have your own plans, Taket. I have mine.
And you?
I am with you as far as the other side of that gate, but I will not follow you into your war.
Then I shall mourn your death as well. She nods and walks through the gate. the Taket that walked through the gate is not the same Taket that the crew of the Damocles now find themselves gazing upon. Although her form hasn't changed that much, there is a look in her 6 eyes that's there is, you can't really see up the picture, but there is a very almost madness about her look. It is the look of someone who is lost, who has done unimaginable things and is now seeing a glimmer of sanity for the first time in millennia. She looks upon the crew across the view screen. She looks at Tira. Her eyes make contact with Davrin. I'm glad to see that you've got rid of that scar at least. It is nice to see at least one of my servants have the same desires perfection that I do.
I'm sure I could not aspire to your perfection.
As pathetic creatures go, you are certainly one of my... Well, I don't dislike... I do have one question though. What is that? And she points in the background to First.
Davrin's mind is racing.
It's one of my slaves.
Good. It's good to see that you're training your crew well.
Well, we can serve our plans best with as many servitors as possible, wouldn't you say?
That is agreed. Although I am curious about one thing. The ship. It is not the ship that you were talking to me from last time. It is a different configuration. It has... Curious? It has technology you didn't have before.
Yes, it is captured from our most recent victory against the Federation.
I would like to see this. And she turns around and you see in front of you a tall portal appear on the bridge, approximately 7 foot tall, and Taket walks through onto the bridge. It still has that horrible smell. She looks over, she goes right over to First, and First is big, Taket's bigger. Just looks down at him. Ugly creature. You there, blue-skinned one. Where did you acquire this being?
We were looking for suitable soldiers on a training band of this tiny wannabe empire called the Dominion, and
pretentious title.
We showed them that their gods were servicing our fault, and you are only the one true goddess, and they were agreeing us because they live for war and we promised them war.
Taket walks straight over to Tira, and she is huge. She very gently gets her hand and just puts it under Tira's chin. Good. And then just lets go. Has somebody soiled themselves? again, looks at Davrin. Make the sphere ready for our fleet.
As you command.
And she just walks through the gate, which immediately closes behind her.
Is the channel still open?
No, the channel's closed.
Okay.
Oh,
holy mother trouble!
Okay.
There is like one of these like, duty crew members just puts their hand up and goes, "Permission to head to the head, sir. I think I need to change my underwear."
Okay, but make it very, very quick.
As you were, sir, and does the walk that the embarrassing touching cloth walk as they get to the turbo lift.
Devon, you're probably gonna hate me for saying that, but that was actually to our advantage. They think we are on their side. They think that we just have to keep them busy for a bit longer and don't let them into the sphere, because I have an idea.
Yeah, great. One thing, they just came into the sphere. In fact, they just came into our ship.
I have an idea.
Well, let's hear it then.
Okay. Yeah. We have pretty much an awesome crew with pretty much very great talents, right?
Yeah.
And we have pretty much I think it was you who said it, that we are the most dangerous ship, most volatile ship in the entire Starfleet because of the things they have on board.
Yep.
Let's use them. You do what you do best. Being a smartass and keep them busy.
That sounded vaguely insubordinate, but carry on.
Tolek, if he's already ready again, has to find a way with the EMH to protect our psionic crew members from killing on our journey back to the Milky Way.
Speaking of, I'm going to very, very quickly cut to the mini-bay. Tolek.
Yep.
Yourself and the other crew members who are severely affected by the passage through the galactic barrier. You can see that there are a few less bodies in the medical bay now. Some of them have been, well, the best way to describe it is permanently removed. Let's just put it like that. Number one being the chief engineer. His entire synapses were fried. The captain is in a medically induced coma right now. It seems as if unjoined trills are especially susceptible to psionic interference. It seems to be that having the extra, for want of expression, the extra mind in the Jan symbiont is what gave Davrin the mental fortitude to not succumb to this. It's like, so one mind resisting, it was several, kind of thing. However, even someone like yourself, a well-disciplined, trained Vulcan, with a neural dampener on your, sort of going across your forehead type thing, is you can feel that the effects of the dampener are either starting to weaken or the mental storm in your mind is growing. There's still a few objects, for want of a better expression, embedded in the wall, and as you are sitting there, you see one of the EMH react to one of the crew members lifting up a chair, like that, and with a purplish glow around their hand and the chair at the same time, and it goes flying towards you.
I try to instinctively pull out a hand and stop it.
It stops in the middle of in the air. The EMH just takes one look at both of you. Thank you, Tolek, but could you And he just, do you? And the chair, not particularly gracefully, but it drops. And as he's doing that, he goes up behind the other person and hypo sprays them. It's like, catches them, puts them on a medical bay. Well, whilst I appreciate your assistance in distracting them like that, please next time, could you give me some kind of warning? And
I shall endeavour to do so.
And even for an EMH, you can see that his program is getting stressed right now. It's like, it's much like some of the more advanced starships in Starfleet. There is a few bioneural circuits on board the Damocles, and some of them are dedicated to running the EMH just because of the sheer processing power. Not all of them, but just as a couple of them. And you can see his program is, for want of a better expression, frazzled. He's not operating at peak efficiency. He's running backwards and forwards, between yourself, between the other crew members, and Wacom, who is just currently sitting still, perfectly fine, but just staring into space, metaphorically speaking. And speaking of Wacom, we're now going to go to our second flashback to when you first encountered the sphere. Now, Wacom, you're sitting on the bridge. You can see on the view screen in front of you something that you've heard stories of, but this is impossibly huge. This can't be right. This is a sphere the size of the orbit of Venus. 200 million kilometers across, a mile thick of neutronium, a small gateway the size of Earth's moon, and then your vision just goes bright white, and you hear that familiar vroom, 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 vroom sound.
Long exhale.
Yeah. You see
Why?
You see what looks like an image of Davrin walking in front of you. So you walk a dangerous path. There's another flash of light. What looks like Tolek standing in front of you. This should not be. And then various crew members start to appear, each saying variations on the message. You should not do this. Be careful. Close the... And in the middle of that sentence, it just stops. You don't see anyone else. You don't see any prophets. You just see the white light that you're used to seeing now. When you had, there's no... Even when they've spoken, you always felt there's something there. But now you're not even feeling that. You're just... There's a nothingness. They exist outside of time, okay? So, to them, last week is 2 days from now, so There is a brief moment where you feel something. It's an odd sensation, even like you're being watched in this spatial void, for want of a better expression. But then there's nothing. Until you suddenly find yourself back in your body with the EMH right in front of you, removing a hyperspray from your neck. Mr. Wacom, are you with us? And he's like clicking his...
Oh my god!
I would take that as a yes then. Oh, that is good. We've been a bit concerned. You've been out for almost 24 hours. How are you? How's any... And as you're saying that, you notice in the background, Wacom, as the image is talking, some of the hypo sprays and instruments start floating up behind his head, like a little sort of and then that dancing past kind of thing. You can see that there's one of the, I suppose you can call it, would they be another one of the Andorians on board is sitting there, and you can see them like going like that. And as their hands do that, the instruments match them behind the MH's head. So it's like they're acting like puppets. And you know, she's looking at Sonic and laughing and going,
Are you a prophet? Am I still there? This is weird.
The MH slaps you. Did you feel that?
Yes.
You're in reality, although you may wish you wasn't.
I don't even know at this point if this is better or not.
Well, I suppose I do have a duty to inform you that we are, in fact, in Andromeda, and there is a fleet of several thousand Iconian vessels awaiting to use this starship as a... What was that quaint term Lieutenant Ricky used? A taxi.
Oh, alright, that kind of makes sense.
Yes. Now, you do have to excuse me, I have to use this bed. There are others, and again, like a hyper-spray thing just goes flying past. Like, you can see that there is a few issues I have to deal with now. In all other respects, it runs a quick medical scanner of you. Yes, I would suggest you go to the bridge at once. It's, medically speaking, you are fine, but if you are suffering any side effects, any more profit visions, please do not hesitate. And he's pushing you at the door by this point. He's like, please do not hesitate. And the door just closes. Yeah, pretty much.
You'd think we're not welcome.
As the door's closing, you can just hear, now, put that hypo spray down. Back to the bridge.
And now things get tricky, Reverend. We need several teams for this plan to work. You remember how we found Archangel?
Mm-hmm.
He was controlling an entire spaceship running through the universe. Either he has to convince the AI of this sphere to bring us back as fast as possible, or he has to overtake it and do it by himself, but not where we found it. That's why we need Ricky and Wacom. They need to plot a course into the heart of the Federation with that. Into a best next to the Sol system in the empty space between solar systems. There, the sphere is safe from the Bendradian to be misused.
So, which one of you's got a good engineering skill, astrophysics? That'd be Davin.
That would be me.
Yeah, Davin, you would know that an object the size and mass of this Dyson sphere, it would be a very bad idea putting it too close to another planet.
So we'd have to plot very carefully where.
That's why we need our best navigators and pilots for this.
You know that it's like you wouldn't want to aim for Earth, but you would want to aim for somewhere where there's metaphorically empty ground.
That's why I said the empty space between the solar systems.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a good idea. Yeah.
And while they are doing that, we need two engineering teams. One led by Wes, because as you remember, we know that the Romulan cloaking device puts the ship slightly out of phase. And you also know that transporter room 2 doesn't work as a normal, proper transporter room anymore. So I was thinking that we put the technology of the cloaking device into the transporter room 2 to beam something through the hull of the sphere that usually can't be done. I will lead the other engineering team and build a antimatter omega bomb with a timer on it to blow the shit of them up. And the last team is headed by First, because any Iconian who comes on the control center or on this ship needs to be killed.
That's the point where Wacom walks onto the bridge just as Tira says, needs to be killed.
Yeah, I was gone for like 2 seconds, and you're trying to kill me already.
Not you. You're too useful to be killed right now.
Although you were useful when we really counted, let's be honest, what happened to you?
Just look, it was weird. Don't worry about it. This looks weird.
Yeah, but let's worry about it.
So,
Yeah.
what do you think? You're currently the acting captain.
Well, it sounds like it's a wing and a prayer, but it's also a plan, and I currently don't have much of one. So let's go for it. But I will say, it does seem to hinge on the idea that this sphere can travel anywhere again fast, and we have to find out if that's possible.
And
So the first thing I would want to do is talk to the AI.
And that's why you need also to stall the Arconian as long as it can, because we need the time to do the things.
Yeah, very, very quickly.
Well, if it's alright with you, I don't intend on communicating with the Iconians until they communicate with me, because the more I reach out to them, the more likely we're going to be rumbled.
Yeah, true.
Okay, again, very, very quick, going to cut back to the medical bay. It's, there is... I can put it, there's been a rather large influx of more crew members coming in, because the more, should we say, psychically gifted ones are now even more starting to develop telekinetic powers. And one thing that gets brought in by some of the medical staff is, well, the best way to describe it, it looks like two people have become fused together at the molecular level. And and it's the EMH just like, right, and just very quickly it's going to say, so like it's, yes, if you were non-Vulcan, I wouldn't be regretting this, but I am going to have to discharge you. I do not have enough medical facilities to deal with. I mean, you do have some mental control, which is good. Very well, I am temporarily discharging you from the medical bay, but I do insist that if any more of any points to this happened, that you come right back immediately. Now, shoot, and he's now shooting you at the bridge, and it's like, you can see him just like going, my training has not been prepared for this, and he's pushing you out the medical bay.
So like leaving and heading to the bridge, because there shouldn't be too much crew left at that.
No,
but
the ship.
He can count.
Yeah, it's normally, even on a ship with a small amount of crew like the Damocles, is you would see one or two crew members as you're walking around.
Yeah.
You're not seeing
And
anyone.
since they're all in med bay, it's obvious that the bridge might be short-handed.
Yeah, there's very few crew members left right now.
So, to the bridge.
Back on the bridge.
Okay, Tara. If I'm acting captain, you're my acting first officer, and this is your plan. So, you...
That's a terrifying prospect.
Promotion.
Now, that's sign of leadership. Path of flame.
So, I have to remain on this bridge in case they contact us, and I am also going to reach out to the AI of the sphere.
Okay.
That means you need to put these teams together, and you need to manage it all. Keep me in the loop, and I'll do the best I can to help from here.
Okay. First
is like, you've never seen First look worried before. But
I'm not usually bigger than him.
No, he keeps looking at the spot where Taket appeared and then disappeared, and it's like, and it's, you know, when you see like that picture of someone just going out looking at one thing, looking at something else, looking back at the thing that's bothering them, then looking at something else, looking back at the thing. He keeps looking at that spot as if he's, what was that?
First, concentrate.
I apologise.
Just think of it of an advanced transporter technology.
I have been in the presence of what I believe to be gods before, although I know the founders are not.
If they are gods, these are the demons. These you need to kill. How good are you?
As you say that, it's almost like a switch goes off in his mind. It's like as if the conflict in his mind is now being resolved. It's like,
You have your warriors. You have access to our remaining security personnel.
yes.
I need a security perimeter on this ship and on the control center of the sphere. No Iconian is allowed to reach the controls without us knowing, and if they actually activate it or open any entry to the sphere, they need to be taken care of.
Second has proved to be quite proficient in his duties recently. I believe he is adequate to the task of defending the Damocles. I will go to the AI in the sphere.
Tulek.
Tolek comes onto the bridge.
Yep.
Perfect timing. You need to go to the med bay.
What is our current situation?
Evil Iconian thinking we are our mirror universe twins, waiting for us to open the entryways so that the attack fleet can enter and we bring them to the Delta Quadrant Gamma? Delta?
Whatever.
Quadrant support.
Whatever.
You're thinking the Gamma Quadrant or the Alpha Quadrant or the Beta Quadrant.
Well, one of them.
The Milky Way. Let's just say
Yeah, the Milky Way.
How have they made contact?
They contacted us and beamed on board.
Technically, they didn't beam on board, but
Yeah, but to be easy, to be quick and easy.
Yeah, on that note, actually, I think we should have Archie try and figure out how they did that and if he can put a stop to it. Unless you need him for something else, Tira.
We need him soon.
That would be convenient.
As well, I don't want anyone to die on our journey home, so I need you to work on that.
The strain seems to be inevitable, and it has a certain effect on me as well.
Davrin, your datapad, or the captain's datapad that's normally sitting on the chair next to you, is very slowly rising up.
Slam it back now.
It was very subtle. It's like, as this was like, as Tyke was talking, it was like very slowly starting to rise up.
Yeah. You don't need Tolek to work anywhere with any sharp objects, do you, Tira?
No, and I'm hoping that some of his logical Vulcan mind stuff keeps him from exploding.
Well, let's all hope for that.
Well, we're looking at the datapad Todek focuses, and I beg your pardon.
And it just, it just drops. It definitely seems to be like a subconscious thing. You know, it's like if you focus on it, you can stop it, but things will start to happen.
Well, knowing you, Tolek, you'll find these just as useful as your ape limbs when you have those. So, just try and get a handle on it quickly, please.
I shall try my utmost. With the Iconians individually able to enter the sphere, we probably are unable to use the sphere itself as a weapon.
Yeah, but we are working on that. Welcome.
Yeah.
For once in your life, work together with Ricky.
I always work with Ricky, and I like put my arm around him and like.
You know what I
Follows reaction with a sort of, a sort of fake grin. Is like, yes.
You have to do the impossible. You have to steer the sphere as deep into Federation space as possible when we go to warp.
Yeah.
And we're in Andromeda, right?
So basically,
I was very like a little out of the loop.
yeah, you're asked to move a sphere made of solid neutronium that's a mile thick, 200 million kilometers across a void that would take light millions of years to an area metaphorically the size of a pin.
So, I think given that you've been out of the loop, Tira did skip a bit of information there. We are in contact with the AI that controls the sphere. In theory, it can get us back from Andromeda, but we just don't want to end up in the same place it came from, which is where you come in. If we link you up with that AI.
Yeah, we are on a bit on a time schedule here, guys.
It's a whole thing. So,
It's a lot to take in. It's like, oh,
in fact, actually, I was going to go talk to the AI, but perhaps you should be the one to do it, since you need to work with it anyway.
Exactly, and take Archie with you. If the AI isn't cooperative, Archie has to take care of it and take over the sphere.
sorry, I'm
Can I go back to my profits?
We will try.
To be honest, it's more helpful to us if you're not sleeping. So,
All right.
Or in a coma or whatever that is.
I just lean over to Ricky. Where the hell are we?
yeah, we're in Andromeda.
Like the galaxy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Guys, for my bomb, I need the warp core.
Okay, I will say this is slightly out of character.
Okay.
I will say that you are aware that the Damocles actually has 3 warp cores.
Yeah, I know. I need all of them for the big boom.
Okay, just as long as you right. Okay, just as long as you.
Can we not just keep the one?
No, because if we are in Federation space, we can call for help for some new ones. We are actually in a ship that can move.
Yeah, you.
All right, we're going for the full-on Hail Mary.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Right.
and I'm now on my way to engineering to talk with Wes that we practically have to do some. That he has practically to invent a new technology in maybe half an hour or something. So see you later.
I'm just going to immediately cut to this. You are out of your goddamn mind, Tira. That is never going to work.
It worked already when I was out of phase in the Forerunner. You brought me back with the help of the cloaking device.
This is completely different. Okay, this, and you can see she's just. Okay, what we did with the Forerunner is completely different to taking what you're proposing. Okay, it's completely different.
I don't want to transport living things. I just want to transport a bomb through the neutronium. That should be possible.
Only transport a bomb through, solid neutronium. Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. That'd be absolutely. And there's a pause.
It's just a simple matter of phase shifting, and the cloaking device does phase shifting, and we have a.
It's not a true phase shift. It's like just dipping your toe into the ocean phase shift.
Then we give it just more power to completely submerge it into the ocean.
Shh. And she literally just puts her hand up to your mouth and just goes, shh, thinking. Nah. I mean,
I think Daphne saw a horror porn that started this way.
Vulcan Love Slave, no, part 5. The Royal Strikes Back. It's just, look, whilst theoretically what you are suggesting is possible, it will require rewiring pretty much everything on the ship in order to accommodate that much power.
Yeah, that's why I'm giving you most of the engineering crew and every authority and access to the holoship. Your complete security restrictions for this are off.
As you say that, there's a sort of blank expression that goes across her face. Marvellous. And she just... yeah. And then just, you see her walk away to the desk and just sort of sits down. It's like, give me 10 minutes. And you can see she's going into a sort of like deep thinking mode. You've seen her do this a couple of times as well, where she'd been walking around the Damocles and you can talk to her for 10 minutes and then you realise she just didn't hear a word you said because she was thinking really deeply. Yes, we'd have to take the slipstream offline. Just reroute the power from the, and she just starts mumbling stuff like that, and she's just tapping on the thing, bringing up like a hollow display. So, I mean, yes, it's theoretically possible, but obviously this is not something we'll be able to repeat. This is a one-off.
No. Yes.
Right. Iconians.
Yes.
Small problem.
I don't like the sound of that.
You do know where Iconia is, don't you?
And the Romulan Empire.
Oh yes. I grew up near it.
And why is that the problem?
Where do you think they're going to be wanting us to go when we get back?
Yeah, that's why we won't let them. That's why we are doing this.
Oh, damn it. And she just hands you a data pad. It's like, calculations made.
Perfect. It's your job to make the modifications. I need to build a bomb.
Okay, have fun. And she just walks off and
Thank you. You bring me all 3 warp cores while I get a torpedo and the Omega particles.
You do, okay, again, out of character, you do know that the warp cores are freaking huge.
Yeah, I'm thinking of... I mean, the warp cores can be removed, right?
Yes, we would have to eject them.
No, I was talking to Chris.
Oh, yes.
Because what I was thinking about is taking a photon torpedo, taking out most of the explosive, putting both Omega particles we have into it.
Okay, I will say that whilst you couldn't really move the warp cores themselves, you can eject them and then use a tractor beam to basically grab them and move them into the right position. But obviously, the minute you eject a warp core, you have got no warp power. Assuming you do all 3 at once, you would have no warp power, and you can only be able to use impulse power.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Okay, no, it's just more. It's more to sort of just make sure you're 100%.
Yeah, because the theory behind it is letting a torpedo explode on a timer, so that the 3 active warp cores explode into an antimatter explosion that then hopefully destabilize the Omega particles.
I see what you're doing. Okay, yes, I see where you're going now. Yeah, okay.
So
one reaction to cause another reaction to cause another reaction.
A chain reaction to not only cripple the fleet very badly, but also cause them to stay at this one place while we are already on our way home.
I like it. Chris officially likes that idea. However,
how much collateral damage of these Omega particles going to do, though?
Well, let's say one Omega particle will disrupt subspace for 7 light years.
And we are talking about 2.
Yeah. So and it's I ruled that they have a compounding effect, so it will be basically 7 times 7.
49.
40. Thank you.
It'll
be about.
I was more concerned about affecting civilizations around here, but you know what? If the Iconians are here, there probably aren't any other civilizations.
Also, that's why Tira didn't mention that to tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It will be,
well, I mean, he's not an idiot. If I can think about that, he's definitely thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But he also hasn't got a better idea, so...
So yeah, basically you would...
That's our Kobayashi Maru.
left. This time you're blowing something up.
Again.
Let's hope it's not one of our allies.
I still can't believe you did that. And the Kobayashi Maru, them two, decided to...
We're going to accidentally end up firing this missile after we do the journey and end up blowing up Earth or something.
Yeah, it actually travels along with you. Along the warp corridor. Right.
So, every team is on work, so...
We do have a little bit of sort of like a montage type thing going on. It's now we're actually going to have... now you're going to eject the warp core. Now this itself is actually surprisingly easy. It's you just have to get authorization from the chief engineer and the captain to do so in a non-emergency situation. And
Well, the chief engineer is no more.
the chief engineer is now currently the Romulan, and the acting captain is Davrin. So the protocols automatically kick in, and they transfer the command codes as needed. The system is quite advanced in that regards. It's as soon as the captain is registered as incapacitated, they automatically transfer him to the next in command. So it's unless of course a block has been put on, say no, don't transfer him to anyone. But so ejecting the warp cores, I should say, is actually very, very easy. I'm not even going to get you to roll because it is easy. What's going to be hard though is going to be capturing them with the tractor beam and moving them into the position that you want. So we're going to have to do this 3 times because you've got 3 warp cores. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the main warp core, the big bad one that powers pretty much the slipstream and the main nacelles. Okay, so this one, where is it going to be? It's going to be tractor beam. Okay, so this will be control and security assisted by structure and security. So, and this can be rolled for by anyone, but to make it fair, I'll try and keep it so, not the same people doing the dice rolls. So, let's say flip anyway.
I don't think any of my focuses apply here, right?
Not for this, no. This is definitely not covered by usual Starfleet training.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I have a focus for later when I'm building the bomb, but now I have the casing puzzle.
No.
No, Atomic does have a value precise to a fault. So if it's fiddly stuff, that might actually be right up his...
Yes, this is something that's going to be quite fiddly because of the first one's going to be easy. The second one's going to be harder. The third one's going to be harder still because you need to get them close enough together without banging into each other.
So, do you want to assist me? Because I think control and security I have higher chances.
Yeah.
My control is pretty good.
Mine too?
Okay, well,
before you start,
then I will help.
The difficulties will be 2 for the first one, 3 for the second, 4 for the last one, to represent how much more difficult, and because you've got to get them precise in the right location and making sure they don't bang into each other and stuff like that. The first one is easy.
But we can roll together and add our successes together, right? Or how does assisting go?
For the assisting, obviously we would do it for each roll separately. So it's like the first one, then the second one, then the third one. So we'll start with the first one at difficulty 2.
Okay, so I will give my assist.
Okay, do the assists first to see. Okay, yep.
Shall I use some momentum already?
Yeah.
Remember, I'm using what I call my...
Remember, Andreas, I've put you in charge of this operation.
The tractor beam,
Don't fail me.
There was very slight jolts as each of the warp cores was ejected, and there was a noticeable dim in the lights, which then the emergency power comes back on again. And you see on the view screen, just because where are you positioning the... I'm going to call it the bomb in relation to the Damocles and the Dysons here.
Well, here's the star, here's the Damocles, and here's the bomb, and here's the exit. So
you're pushing it towards one of the Okay, it's just so I know what I'm visualizing. Right. Okay, first one, not a problem. Slots into its assigned location, quite easy.
So we get 2 momentum for that, right?
Yeah.
Or 3.
I think difficulty was 2.
Correct. Difficulty was 2.
So you get 1.
Yeah.
Now the second.
No, because you get 3.
Yes.
Yeah. What about the ship? Well, the ship didn't even roll for this one, but we also have the Damocles in the background.
But you know what? If we roll for that now, we might end up with complications.
Yes. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. But for next time, remember that.
Yes.
So the next one.
Right. I'm gonna help.
Next one. This is a difficulty of 3.
I'm gonna just help out. Well, hope I'll help out again. Well,
Okay.
I take another momentum at that again.
Okay. Alright. You see,
And the ship.
go on. Roll for the ship as well.
somebody.
Do you want
Please?
to?
It doesn't matter.
Well, I'm wondering whether we want to. You've
Yeah.
just succeeded and got one momentum.
Okay, yeah. Yes, true that.
It's entirely up to you. If you can.
No, we don't risk it.
Yeah.
I say
We have a lot of momentum right now, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And
The last one.
lastly,
This is
I
a
will.
difficulty of 4.
Here.
I'll take 2 momentums on that,
Okay.
just to be sure.
And we may want the ship on this, but let's see.
Yes.
Because you want to you're taking advantage of the ship's scanners, sort of thing.
Oh well.
Oh, well, no.
Mm.
Leave the ship alone.
Yes. The
It
ship,
needs a rest.
Who needs it?
but bear in mind, the ships did get a bit of a buffering, when it went through the thing as well, because it wasn't fully shielded properly. So, the sensors might be a bit off. Just saying. But it doesn't matter because between you and you have managed to now position all 3 of the Damocles' warp cores. And you can see in the distance, although it's zoomed in on the view screen, 3 of them just very slowly rotating around the central point. Their antimatter intermix chambers just slowly, the light from them fading as the reactions that are within them slow down, but never really truly stop. And they're just floating there, just not going any further forwards or backwards, but just generally floating. You get an incoming hail.
Okay.
You can do that, Gavin.
Open channel.
Taket is before you. How is the progress? I notice that the aperture is not yet open and ready to receive my fleet.
The transfer to the Andromeda system happened at a much faster pace than the AI said it would, and has caused problems. I am in communication with the AI now and trying to establish a timeline for when they can accommodate the repairs and get us active again.
Make a command and reason roll to see if you can bullshit your way through this one.
Half true. The only thing that is untrue is the fact that we've not yet talked to it. Command and reason. Okay, difficulty.
I'm going to say 2 for this one because Taket is Iconian and very difficult to read.
Okay. I'm going to spend 1 momentum. Hopefully, that'll be enough. And I have a diplomacy focus.
Yes, that'll drop it down to 1.
Ooh, yeah. Right.
So we
Your ship was weaker than I first anticipated. Very well. We have waited this long. But do not test my patience. The screen cuts off.
Okay. There is stuff that I want to have happened before that conversation, because obviously all of this and moving the warp cores must have taken a while.
Yeah. Okay, so we do like a flashback if you want.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's just wasting time, and there's a lot of us that can still do things.
Sure.
So after Tira buggers off and starts figuring out the engineering side, I've still got Tolek and Ral in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I say to Tolek, characteristically, Tira has forgotten human elements of this, or sentient elements, and that is that there are living people on the sphere, which we have probably already catastrophically affected with the same thing that is now affecting you. She wants you to make sure that the people on the ship are protected for the return journey, and that's fine, and it should be our focus. But if there's anything that you can think of, and perhaps collaborate with the AI to protect them, then even better. Of course, they may already be protected, and that's a question we can ask the AI. Which brings me to Ral. I know you're in at the deep end, and I'm sorry for that. Ricky has been conscious for this, and I'm sending him with you. So, you and he... I'm sorry, Ricky, you're going to have to leave the ship for once. What can I do? As Tira says, you and he are going to be responsible for trying to navigate the sphere to another destination other than the one it normally goes to. But you need to be in touch with the AI to make that happen anyway. When you're going to be there, when you're there, I have some questions I need you to ask it.
Okay.
1. Does the sphere have defenses that will protect from whatever that portal method the Iconian just used? 2. If they do know how to block that, can they share that with us? 3. Do they recognize the Iconians as a threat, and if can you make sure that they do? 4. The people that live on the sphere, how are they being by this move? Are they protected from the psychic effects? And 5. Why did this journey happen so much quicker than the AI quoted to us in the first place? And will there be consequences for us on our return journey? 6. When is it possible for us? When is the earliest possible chance for us to make that return journey? I think that's it.
You can see Ricky's got a little bit cross-eyed by this point. So, and it sort of leads over to Wacom and go, were you taking notes? Thank you. It's just like...
Wacom whips out a pad real quick. He's doing shorthand. So, anti-Iconian tech. Can we have it if there is? Are the Iconians bad? Are the people safe? Why did we leave early? And when can we leave?
Yeah, although on the Iconian bad thing, it's more whether the AI acknowledges them as an enemy that it wants to keep out.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Because otherwise we're going to have big problems. Right. So.
Right. Tonic, did you have anything you wanted to... Again, various items in the same room as Tonic are, sort of...
I, grab my pad out from there. I, bring it back. Okay.
Tonic to Archie.
There's a slight pause. Because Archie's on the station, so...
Oh, right, he's already over.
Yeah, he's already over there, but no, it says there's a slight pause because it connects with... It's like, Tonic, have we arrived safely in Andromeda?
And a quite sizable Iconian fleet is on the outside of the sphere and wishes to use it to gain entry into the Milky Way. We are currently working on preventing that.
Oh dear.
Also, an Iconian materialized on the Damocles. Is there any way to prevent the reoccurrence of such a thing?
One moment, I will access the sphere's databanks. Iconian gate technology apparently has no known ways of being blocked, save one. Distance. It is extremely short-ranged, although in comparison to our transporter technology, which is only approximately 40,000 kilometers, Iconian technology can reach from one side of a solar system to another, but that is its known limits. It is extremely powerful and believed to be one of the reasons why the Iconians were destroyed, because they refused to share said technology.
So, right. There will be a party coming down into your location shortly. is there any... Could you inquire if there is any danger to the inhabitants of the sphere by the jumps from Andromeda to the Milky Way?
One moment. The virtual intelligence on the space station informs me that it was our proximity to the Omega type star that caused the problems. Our shieldings would normally be enough to defend us, but our proximity to it weakened them enough to allow the effects to occur. The inhabitants of the sphere are unharmed, nervous, but unharmed.
That is fortunate to hear, and Tadek will just grab something that is floating and put it down with a bit more force than usual, because he's slightly annoyed at himself. The effects on the crew were more extreme in some cases. We are trying to prevent further injuries on the return journey. Is there anything the VI would recommend?
I will consult with it. And again, there's that slight pause. Now that the VI is aware of this limitation of our technology, it is able to compensate. However, we would need full shields to do so.
Right.
Which you can, obviously, out of counter, you realise you can use that. You can do that. The warp core does not mean you can't have full shields. It just means you pretty much have to divert every single bit of spare power you've got to the shields.
Right.
And that's what Archie tells you in the next sort of few minutes rather than technical jargon.
I shall share that information.
There you go.
Thank you. Well, that's cut down your list a bit, Ra.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you, Tolek.
No.
Before you hang up the call,
Right.
would be
I've got
Archie.
of Wacom sticking his head through the fingers, going, "Oh, Archie."
Yeah, wait. Archie, this is Lieutenant Wacom Raw. I know we haven't talked much.
I'm aware of who you are.
Excellent.
I have been watching you.
When
With my one red light.
I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
Yes, Archie's got full howl.
God, I'm just imagining ape-like
This has been the fear all along.
Tolek banging 2001: A Space Odyssey in his chorus. Bum 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 bum.
Yep.
No,
I need to watch this movie again.
it's a great movie.
They just. I'll wait for the break. When you said the Iconian technology is limited by distance, does that include subspace?
Unknown. It is believed that the Iconian technology does not utilize subspace. There is many myths and legends surrounding the creation of the Iconian gateway technology, but they all agree that they do not use subspace.
Thank you. I got an idea.
Okay.
Please share with the class.
The Iconians' technology is limited by distance, but they don't utilize subspace travel like we do. That's what warp travel is. I'm wondering if by entering subspace we exit their ability to interact with us, because that's this is technically very wrong, but you go a very far away when you're in subspace, right? Because you're shifting out of normal space.
Technically,
Right.
yes. It's kind of subspace is a weird dimension. It's not like hyperspace.
Right.
It's both close and far away at the same time. It
The
has,
elastic band effect.
yeah, it's one of those,
Right. Exactly. So, if we're in subspace, maybe that, even though we're close, maybe we could be far away. Because I'm thinking about how we got away from the gravitational pull of that planet with all the shuttlecraft around it, and we,
the clench.
craft our ship out. Yeah. If we could do a similar thing and create a pocket of subspace within the ship, maybe that would prevent the Iconians from being able to use their gate technology to come in and out.
Okay. That's a very, very intriguing idea.
Even Lieutenant Ricky's just like looking at you going, what the hell? It's like
maybe I need to discuss this with our chief engineer.
We don't have one right now.
Technically we do have she's acting chief engineer.
And he's currently ripping the ship apart.
Oh yeah.
However, this may sort of be in my wheelhouse.
I'm just loving these interactions. I'm hardly having to do anything. This is fantastic.
Okay, so we've already ejected the warp engines, but we do have other ways to interact with subspace, and those are the transporter rooms. Now we need one of them for Tira's plan. That leaves transporter room 1. If we could somehow redirect the energies from there to create this subspace bubble.
Unless...
Or...
Sorry. Can I say?
Tira's not on the bridge.
Yeah, sorry. That's why I'm sorry.
So feel free to metagaming my ear after all.
Yeah. We have all the shuttlecraft. They all have transporters in them. You could network them together.
Even better. Yeah.
And then it leaves us with an operating transporter room. As operating as our transporter rooms are.
Yeah.
Even better. Yeah. Okay. Well, we might as well try.
Whack on, a small pad-like object hits you in the back of the head.
God damn it! What? If you wanted to ask a question, you could just ask, Tolek.
As you look at Tolek, you notice it's very subtle, but around the edges of his eyes, there's a very faint purple glow. It's very...
Around...
his eyes.
Around Tolek's eyes?
Yes.
Okay. That's weirder than usual.
It seems to be fading away as you're looking, though.
What is unusual, Lieutenant?
Your eyes, they're all purpley.
Tolek will try to find a reason.
It's pretty purple.
Reflect
your eyes, Tolek, they're dazzling. They sparkle like amethysts.
When you come in,
even though he's in a medically induced coma, you swear you can hear Captain Pro just go, God damn it.
Look, I stress stroke, okay? Dear.
Go on.
Are you sure you have a handle on things, Tom?
I am focusing as much energy as needed to function.
Okay, because I know you're going to put yourself before the crew, and perhaps that's the right decision in the situation we're in. But if the moment you feel like you're losing that control, I command you to tell me. Okay?
I shall inform you immediately.
Good. Right. So, Raul, that's an excellent idea, and we will try. I'll head up that team myself.
Okay. So, going to very, very quickly cut to Tira, whose antenna is metaphorically burning as you know the crew are talking about something that you wanted to be interested and involved in. You can see that the progress is being made. Vez is, for want of a better expression, she is ankle deep now in the guts of the ship. There's a massive gap now in the engineering bay where the warp core used to be, and every time she sort of comes back out and looks up at him, it's like this, and carries on with what she's doing. She's carrying data pads. There's cables going backwards and forwards all over the place. It's a mess. It's a mess, but it also looks organised at the same time.
And Tira to Devon.
Go ahead, Tara.
We started with our work, and one question: do you want a timer or a remote control on our?
Can it be both?
Yes, from the background.
Then let's have both, because in the event that we end up not being able to activate the remote control, we might be glad of a backup.
5 seconds?
Will that be sufficient?
Yes.
Then yes, 5 seconds.
So, and you also hear in the background, I told you we'd go for both options.
Yeah, I know. I owe you a favor now, I know.
Yes. Don't worry. When we get back of it, I'll cash it in, okay? Oh, son of a... No, the cable goes over to that
But
Madrid.
I still want us to wear wielding goggles.
There is, it's like, look, and you hear Vess go to Tira, move that blue arse of yours. I need to connect this to... You do hear a bit of... Well, you've not heard Vess swear before, but there's definitely some Romulan profanities coming from the engine room right now. And it's something about, if you don't put that in the right place, I will make sure it goes where the warp core does not shed much daylight. Or worse to that effect.
And from time to time, and be careful with that Omega particles. We don't want them to destabilize now. And where's my goddamn torpedo?
It's almost beep beep, and again the universe translate every few. So like, if you ask me one more time when and this goes on for a good 5 minutes, like every other word is an expletive. It's like I would
From both of them.
I would definitely, they are arguing between each other, but it's they're going left and right. It's like there's Andorian swearing, there's Romulan swearing. If you ask me one more bloody time about the Omega particle, I'm going to shove this right up your. Oh, it's done.
Just so you know, Davrin has closed the communication channel.
They don't care about this. They don't care about this.
I need this hyper screwdriver. That's mine.
Only hyper, not sonic. Useless.
Oh, that's went quite well. I think it's like there's a.
That looks fine. Yeah.
Yes, I think we can do it. It's,
yeah.
Oh, and very carefully hands this data. Don't lose that. That's the remote control for the bomb.
Big red button.
No, right, okay. Right. Now, this is what we do. And yes, basically, that entire sequence from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where Rocket is trying to teach Groot not to press the wrong button. Just imagine that replays, but with this and Tira. I'm not recreating that. No. So.
I think Tira knows how to push the right buttons.
I know, but Vess doesn't care right now. She's talking to you like a child. It's like, right, that's how you activate it. That's how you set the timer. But do not press that button until you are sure you want the bomb to go off. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. Repeat what I just said.
I push this button.
No.
With a big white grin that is clearly choking.
Get out of the engineering. in that sort of leave before I kill you.
So everything's set up is on our part now?
Yes, it's all set up now. However, if you don't leave, I will.
I was asking again, Chris.
Oh, sorry. Yes, no, it's all set up correctly. It's just rather than doing all the details and stuff, it's ironically this is actually one of the most simplest things you've done.
Creating an antimatter Omega bomb.
Yeah.
And a phase transport, a new technology.
Because this is something that you yourself got the basic understanding. Vess is a master of combining the two together, and I do want to try and speed things along rather than
okay.
Rather than doing every single role.
I like that. If you say everything is done on the building part of the engineering, I'm fine with that.
However, I will say you won't know what it's going to be like until you activate
push the button.
Exactly.
And activate the transporter.
And I use all my thread.
Oh, damn. I forgot he decided to start using that.
Yes. So the engineering stuff is pretty much sorted.
Perfect.
Yeah, except my engineering stuff.
Yes.
You can do it. You were reminding us very often that you are clearly an expert on astrophysics and stuff like that.
Okay.
I also have a focus in warp theory. So
Okay,
Subspace is kind of in my ballpark.
Yeah.
Finish off the last of the preparations thing and take a little break because I need to.
Yeah, so Raul still has to do. Tolek, you kind of covered yours, didn't you?
I did. I think I did. Yeah,
But if you could think of anything else, because you haven't really done much.
it's fine.
And then I need to try and make our little subspace bubble.
Okay, so let's go with Wacon's stuff first on the space station.
Yep.
Okay, so go ahead. Ask your questions to the VI.
So I'm with Ricky now, right? And Archie is present.
Archie is present, but he is deferring to you in regards to this because he knows that the VI seems to respond better to a biological being. I think it's just the way it's been programmed. It's not like a speciesism. I think it in some level it kind of sees Archie as like an assistant, but it sees organic beings as the controllers type things.
Okay. Does the AI have a name?
It's just VI.
A VI. Okay.
It's a virtual intelligence. Doesn't really have a name.
Yeah, that's fine. There's just one of those details I didn't know from the last session.
That's true.
No. Hello, VI. Hello, Archie.
Greetings, Rackham.
How's it going?
It has been a most informative experience on this station. The technology is, as Tolek would say, fascinating.
Yeah, that's one word for it. All right.
To give you an idea, the VI is basically like a really advanced hologram. It's a tall, things like a Roswell-looking alien, but about it's about 6-7 foot tall kind of thing.
So it's a tall Asgard.
Yeah, think a tall Asgard.
Cool. Okay.
And it's just standing in its sort of standby mode, just looking straight ahead. But anytime you ask it a question, it will activate and respond to you. So.
Yes. So in the interest of making sure everything before our plan proceeds, we just want to make sure everyone has the correct information, everyone is on board, to prevent any preventable mishaps.
That is commendable.
So, gonna start from the top here. Who is in charge?
Technically, I am in control of the station, but I respond to verbal commands.
To all verbal commands?
Within my remit, yes.
Is there a limit to with whom you will not accept commands? English.
I know what I mean. It's basically, I will respond to anyone's commands who are within this control chamber.
Interesting.
Outside, I require authorization.
Whose authorization?
The builders.
The builders. Who were the builders?
You would know them as the tall grey ones, and he sort of indicates to himself or itself.
And it's like the same species that we found on the Latinum planet.
It is the same species.
All right, cool.
They were. I don't know if you were here when it happened. Little minor flashback. They are basic. If the Iconians were the warriors and the scientists of the firstborn children, these tall grey ones were the builders.
Okay. What is your relationship with the Iconians?
As you see that there's Iconians have been dead for 200,000 years.
Yes. Can you please answer my question?
I have no interaction with the Iconians.
You have never had interaction with the Iconians.
That is correct.
In a hypothetical scenario, how would you respond to an Iconian giving you orders?
Their orders would be ignored.
Writes down notes.
Yeah, they assisted in the destruction of my people. the people who created me. But it is good that they no longer exist.
Yes, agreed.
That news.
So, yeah, about that.
In this hypothetical scenario, if an Iconian were to still exist and wanted to use this sphere for their own means, probably bad, would you be able to help us change their plans?
Within my programming and protocols, yes.
Excellent.
However, my priority is to the sphere and its inhabitants. I will not allow anything to happen to us, to them.
And I am, in this very hypothetical scenario, I would be in complete agreement.
There isn't a deception roll, unfortunately.
I know, yeah.
I'm trying to...
I would probably say it would come under daring.
Yeah. Because it is kind
daring
of...
command, maybe.
Yeah, I'm going to have to ask you to make a daring and command roll for this one, because it's...
Or control, I guess, to kind of conceal the lie, the poker face style. But, yeah.
I'll allow you to choose between the two then. Control or daring. Are you trying to control your poker face, or are you just, going balls to the wall?
Well, my control stat is higher, so that's the one I'm going with.
You're going with your poker face.
Okay,
Okay,
give me a...
so the difficulty is 2 for this one. Because...
Right.
Uh-oh. Like, You get the feeling that the VI... It's like... It just gives you an odd look. It's the only way I can describe it. It is an odd look that it gives you. But it seems to believe you. Lucky enough you didn't roll any complications.
Cool. Switching gears back to the real, not the hypothetical.
Okay.
The propulsion method for the sphere.
Yes.
Can you give me a very basic explanation as to how it works?
How brief do you want it?
You know that I'm a child species of the builders.
There's a smirk that seems to come from the VI as it says that. It's like, you wish it to be understood by your species. Very well.
Please.
Oh my God, I almost want the sphere to get blown up now.
Like, in essence,
Smug bastard.
in essence, the sphere, using the installed Omega particles, channels a warp corridor to its destination.
Now, this warp corridor, we use warp technology, and we can change our route midway. Is the sphere able to do that, or is it a set start point, set end point, and a pathway between?
Destinations can be changed, but recalibration mid-journey is unwise.
Because of chances of popping back into normal space in, say, a star.
Correct.
Or a gravitational well, or any object.
There are multiple failure scenarios.
And the ultimate cause of this is lack of information on the destination?
Correct.
So if you were given information on... If you were given an accurate, up-to-date astronavigational chart, would you be able to plot a better, safer course?
This would be possible. Correct.
Okay. That's good to know, too.
Excuse me. Okay, again, how many questions have you got? Because I want to cut back over to Davrin's team, so I need to go to the gents. So,
just one more question.
That's playing up IRL.
Well, a question and a half.
Okay.
Why did we leave the Milky Way, what we call the Milky Way galaxy, and when are we going back?
You was asking about the error, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay. There was a interference from outside that necessitated an increase in speed.
And we're able to go back whenever?
Theoretically, yes. However, recalibration does require time. A emergency jump can be made, however, it introduces multiple variables into destination.
Which could be counteracted had you recent and accurate astronomical data regarding the destination.
It will reduce. A beacon of sorts or a known subject to lock onto is easier to navigate rather than empty space, but it is theoretically possible.
Alright. Thank you for the information, and thank you for making it so lesser species, like myself, could understand.
Yeah, it just sort of puts its hands together and does a almost sarcastic. You know, Taishop, you think the VI is being sarcastic when it bows.
It's okay. I don't care.
Oh man,
Used to
they
dealing with
programmed it with
prophets. This is
sarcasm.
It's probably learned from Archery. Okay. So,
Okay, Ricky, time to go back. We need to.
this is some weird. This is too weird. And so, Davrin, very quickly,
Yes.
your plan.
Yeah, so as the energy from the warp drives in the shuttles and redirect it to create a subspace pocket around the ship to protect us from, hopefully protect us from those portals.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough crew. I'm going to say with Vez helping you now, she's finished with doing what she's doing with that. She'll definitely be able to help you a bit, which will reduce the difficulty down. This is not so much a role to see if you can get it done, because this is definitely something that Davin could do. It's more to see if you can get it done within the time frame.
Okay.
It's not it's not actually, surprisingly enough, it's not that a complicated thing to do. It's just getting it done to a level that you would be happy with within the rapidly unknown time frame.
Yeah. So, what am I rolling? Reason and science? Reason engineering?
This is going to be engineering. I'm going to say reason and engineering. Because this is, you really have to sort of wait, but no, we can take a shortcut by using that console and blah, 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 blah. You're basically jury-rigging pretty much every shuttle the ship has got.
Yeah.
It's a shame there wasn't, the particular shuttle isn't there right now.
Yeah. Well, what can we do? So, I believe I have focuses.
Yes.
I also am going to make a case. I've never done this in the entire campaign, but I'm going to make a case for spending a point of determination.
Ooh.
I have a value open-mindedness in all things, and I could argue that could help me see possibilities that other people could not.
I'm going to say yes for this one, because this is pretty much balls to the wall here. This is if anything's going to focus Davrin, and get all the previous hosts just going, right, this is what you need to do. You're not hearing the words, because you don't really hear thoughts when you talk, when you communicate with a symbiont, but it's more like dreams and memories. But you're getting information from various different, and they're saying, this is what you need to do. This is how you do it.
I mean, that's good. I mean, I've got the mental repository talent as well. I also have the rules which is intense.
Sorry, just cut out a bit then.
I also have a talent intense scrutiny, so I could focus very much, but we never use the aspect of the rules that interacts with.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of...
I need to replace it, really.
Yeah, I'll allow you to have a free replacement for that one, because we're not really using that side of the rules. So I'll say you can replace that for free. So,
yeah.
Well.
So, remind me, determination is one automatic success.
Yes, it's one automatic critical, which is 2 successes.
Plus, does it do anything else?
No, it's an automatic crit.
Okay, great. That's already 2.
Yeah, that's the thing about determination is you can't use them all the time. This is more for I know you know, but this is more for anybody else. The way determination works is they are like your spells in D&D. They are very, very powerful, very customizable, but you can't use them that often. But they are... What's the word I'm looking for? They are... Like I say, they are extremely, extremely powerful, and you don't get them back automatically. You pretty much have to... If I read the rules right, and I have to double check on this, I think you have to buy them back. So like once they're used, that's it, they're gone. But you can use them at practically any time, and they give you an automatic crit, no matter what the difficulty is. Which is that's the impressive thing about it. So even if it's a difficulty 5, you would still get as a minimum 2.
So what is the difficulty?
This is going to be a 3.
Okay,
just to represent not so much the difficulty as such, but just to get the done in time.
I've got 2.
If you had like a day, you wouldn't even have to roll.
Do you know what? This is important enough that we keep her out, but I am going to spend 1 momentum on it as well.
Okay, cool.
Really try and...
You always add a momentum and not spend a momentum.
Oh, sorry. Well, at least you're on top of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Right, there you go. So that's 4.
Right.
I'm just going to take a fret. Okay. But this obviously this is, you think this is rigged up correctly. You're not 100% sure, and it's not something you can test, obviously, by its very nature.
Not until it's happening.
Not until it's happening, but...
So how does that crit fit into that roll?
Well, it would add 2 to it.
Yeah.
But it's the complication.
Okay.
It's the complication that causes problems. Yeah. It's... I'll say you think it's worked, but again, you've not had the time to really sort of test it properly. This isn't something you can test. This is we're doing this. This is it. You don't have time to run simulations. This is like pretty much going down to the engineering bay.
Balls to the wall.
Balls to the walls, pulling out, pretty much disassembling the shuttles in situ and then using them together and then hooking them up to the transporters. It's a nightmare. The ship is riddled, with broken panels, cables all over the place. If the captain saw this now, he'd probably have a blue fear. Missing warp cores, an Omega bomb set up, the transporters rigged to shunt the ship very slightly into subspace. This is not something that a Starfleet vessel was designed to have happen.
They're going to be studying us for centuries, for the record, if we survive it.
They're going to be studying for something.
Let me say this, Chris. The Damocles was designed to be a technological test bed to find new technologies and to implement them.
I think we were meant to test for technologies they
Yes, it's not. And with that, maybe success, maybe not. I'm going to have a very quick break because I need to really run up to the gents, and we'll be back in a maximum of 5 minutes. But probably be quicker than that, so don't go away. Just going to just mute this stream. Right, and we're back. Okay, so not going to do any more palaver. I'm just going to crack on with the story. So, all the preparations have been made. The ship, gutted as it is, mangled in many ways. The crew reduced to probably about a third of what it normally is. The Iconians are all floating outside of the sphere. One of them starting to grow a little bit impatient. And then there's you four. What are you doing?
I would be reporting what I learned.
I come back to the bridge with a button.
Oh yeah, there's
It's Christmas come early. Thank you.
Yeah, there's basically it's been really simplified, and you can tell that Vess has done this just to be sarcastic. It's literally 2 buttons and a display, and like an LCD display. It's been simple.
What's the second button?
That's
more complicated than I needed it. Damn it, Vex.
You push that button, Captain.
It's like one button push, it starts the countdown. The other one is fire now.
Oh, right. Yeah, got it.
So,
thank you, Tira.
I'm ready to beam our present as you deem it.
Right. Well, Ral, so you need to get some data over to the VI. Still.
Yeah, I believe. Well, first, they don't know that the Iconians are here at all.
How can they not?
I don't know. I'm just asking questions. Second of all, they don't like the Iconians, and I was told explicitly that their orders would be ignored. The Iconians' orders would be ignored should they be given to the sphere, which is excellent news.
So even if we fail here, the Iconians, on their own recognizance, are not getting to the Milky Way.
Unless they hack the VI and take over the control systems. We cannot count on that.
I think now you've just realised why they needed somebody else to bring the sphere to them.
The reason we left the Milky Way galaxy is because of my best guess. The VI just said like distortions and whatever. I think it was us. Out of
game, we actually asked it to take us out of galaxy.
Oh, okay.
But the question was more because it quoted us a period of time that the journey would take, but then the journey was really far quicker, and that's what caused the psychic distortions.
Yeah, because you went for it too fast.
Yeah, and that was kind of what I was wanting to find out about. But Chris actually answered that anyway. The outside influence is what sped it up.
Right.
Yeah. It's.
I presume that was the Cthulhu-esque creatures at the end.
Yeah, the thing that was watching you as you left the galaxy, as you breached the veil, it pretty much kicked in the emergency. Oh, we need to GTFO, and it just poof.
Yeah.
And it is possible to change the destination. It does work, sort of like our normal warp technology. The reason it doesn't is because the sphere doesn't have accurate information on the destination, and it has safeguards to prevent it from popping back into normal space in the middle of a star or a planet or too close to a gravitational field or whatever. But if we were to provide the sphere with more accurate, all of the astronomical data that we have, it could plot a course probably wherever we wanted.
That's good.
That's very good. Okay, well, let's get that information. Tolek, you found that as long as we have the shields at max, we've got a buffer. Is there anything else that you can think of to help in this situation?
We should gather all endangered personnel in one space close to the EMH, and maybe I can provide some form of additional protection.
Why are things floating around here?
because I am currently engaged in multiple thought processes.
You actually notice that Tolek is very slightly floating off the ground himself. It's only by about half an inch, but there's a definite gap between his feet and the ground.
Okay. The question for Chris.
Yes.
How many personnel which we would consider endangered aren't already near the AMA?
There's probably, I would say, probably about...
I'm not. Tolek's not.
If you include Tolek, I would say there's probably about, not including the ones who are already under or been killed, I'd say there's probably about 10. If you include Tolek as well, which may not sound a lot, but considering that
on our ship, it's actually a significant portion, isn't it?
It's a big chunk of crew.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, okay, Tolek, I'll leave you in charge of that. Make sure that they know that the moment they've finished whatever duty they have done before we go, they're to head straight, and you too, to head straight for medbay.
So I just had a vision of Tolek, Dr. Manhattan style.
Yeah. So Tolek will go round.
I didn't need that in my head, Chris.
Why do you think I just started laughing randomly?
He's still wearing pants, don't worry.
This is
Purple Tolek.
Just sort of like, no, what's the character in Overwatch?
I can't help you there. I'm not into that.
Is it Zenyatta, the sort of
the robot monk?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
Experience tranquility.
That's the one. Zenyattering down the hallway. Like just sort of like all light and shit going on around. I'm making myself laugh. That's not a good sign.
Is Archie back on board?
Yes, all the crew are, for want of a better expression, back on board. It's the transporters are still working.
Transporter room 1 as well.
1 is working. Every other transporter on the ship, even like the cargo buffers and stuff like that, have all been rigged into your, what I'm going to call subspace generator. But the only one that's not, transport one does work, but obviously, it's the only one that does work. Everything else is pretty much offline for the time being.
Right.
Well, offline from transporting, I should say.
So I think we've done all the preparations we can, right?
I believe so.
Speaking of the devil.
So we did that there.
Everyone get on with things, okay? Quickly. Right. And I answer the hail as people scurry off to do their...
My patience is wearing incredibly thin, Davrin.
Well, I have good news for you.
About time. Is my vessel ready to receive my fleet?
Yes, it very nearly is. The doors will be opening momentarily, within 10 Earth minutes.
Do not disappoint me again. And the signal's cut.
Get on work.
I'm just waiting to be more present out of here.
Right.
Right.
I say it's entirely up to you now what you want to do. I'm pretty much just letting you guys.
Let's start the engines and first give the VI our S shards and the new destination, start the engines, and as soon as and maybe 1 or 2 seconds,
I'm just thinking
10 seconds before we start, beam the bomb into the fleet.
I'm just thinking that we have protected the Damocles, we think, from them gating in. What we have not protected is the control room of the sphere.
The control room of the sphere is protected by First and his Jamadar. I trust him.
Oh yes, that kind of protection.
Right. I think someone ought to be down there who can actually give the virtual intelligence a difficult instruction if first fails. You see what I mean,
That's
Tira?
a very good eyebrow, Brian. That's almost Vulcan-worthy.
And
Seriously, that was amazing. Do it again.
normally,
Dance, furry monkey, dance.
I would prefer to be on this bridge and to be taking control of the button from you, Tira, because I know exactly what it means, and I think I should be able to do it. So I would suggest you be that person on the sphere. But if you think differently, I will go.
I will go, but I will just say this. The beaming process will be complicated. I know transporters very well.
You have to talk to one, certainly.
You're right. Then Tolek,
Yes.
I'm sure you can see the logic in having someone at control in case first and defenders fail to tell the VI to shut down whatever it needs to happen. Would you take that responsibility?
If you do not wish me to care for the endangered crew, then I will follow that order.
I think the EMH can take care of that. Also, Tolek, how secure are you with your telekinetic abilities?
That remains untested as of yet.
Well, in that case, just to be secure, you are allowed to enter my room and take my collection of various combat knives.
That's a lot of knives.
I mean, that's like every inch of every.
It's like, whoa.
It's just one more.
Okay, yeah, it's one
Yeah.
wall.
I agree with Tira. I think short period where it will matter, the EMH will be able to handle things. And somebody has to be down there, but I think Tira's right. She has to be here, and I won't give anyone else the responsibility of that button. Not when I'm in charge.
Order understood. And
Thank
Tolek
you.
will go off
Okay.
and collect the knives.
Okay. Yes, there is quite an impressive collection of knives on the wall. Where it's actually, what would you say? What Batleth?
No, not the Batleth, but the smaller knife every Klinken has.
Oh, the tug.
Yeah, the tug.
Spelled
Of
spelled
course,
it's like
The ice picks.
Yes.
of course, the Ushan,
The traditional weapon.
the Vulcan ritual combat knife,
Or the Lurper with the big
Yeah.
bladey thing.
and probably some human daggers, and maybe something from the Orions and the Gorn as well.
So, but yeah, there is a collection of there's
Yeah.
weapons. There's weapons from pretty much every major species, plus a few even you are not entirely sure
Yeah.
where they
Let's
come
say-
from.
I mean, let's be
Make
honest.
aggressive
Every species in
Aggressive speeches like Nausicaans, Gorns, Klingons.
You name it, there's a blade for this species. It's bar one, and they're currently
the Trilled.
no. There's don't
Bar two, then.
No.
They are outside.
Yeah, yes. The only other warrior slight race that you might know of is currently parked just outside the sphere. It'd be quite nice to have a Iconian weapon, I imagine.
Well,
Uh,
do you know what? That's quite far down, low down on my priorities today.
yeah.
It's just like I imagine the two of us going one day.
You'll find one in a ruin somewhere. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could easily find one, definitely.
So, well, in a brief moment of experimentation, because it's still Tolek, he just will try to have all these knives, all these blades float around him telekinetically.
And they do.
That's the idea.
Although it's a bit of a struggle to begin with, because this is probably the first time you've actively applied your telekinetic abilities, but you do feel like they're getting stronger and more controllable and focused by the moment. Was it the Ushan? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Slowly lifts up off its display and comes and stops right in front of you.
And then flip it.
Yeah, it flips. it does and it's now pointing the opposite way. And then the Klingon blade joins it. And then basically, if you imagine like Tolek's now standing there in Tira's quarters and all of the blades at once just go
Magneto-like.
Yeah, Magneto, yes.
Oh my god, we created a monster.
It's a Magneto moment, and they just stand there and just like,
He's gonna go join the mirror as become a supervillain.
I said you can have fun with this one.
Yep. Yeah, and he will then make his way to the courtroom just like that.
There is a couple of people who you do, like making the last minute preparations, and they just see Tolek floating Magneto style. Do you do the arms cross things, or are you doing the Vulcan style?
That's his Vulcan style.
So arms behind the back.
Yeah.
Floating down the thing, and this cloud of blades just following him as he floats down the corridor. There is a definite. Someone closes the door. And it's like, scene ends.
Yep.
That's fantastic mental image.
Yeah.
So, the clock is ticking. You've got about 9 minutes left on your self-imposed.
Right, well, we're going to go early because that will be most surprising.
Yeah.
So, as soon as Tolek is in place, Darren to Tolek.
Tolek here.
Let me know when you're in the control room.
I have arrived.
Fantastic. Everybody ready?
Yes, and please be smug about it.
Be smug about it. Oh, you want me to do a smug speech?
A one-liner, at least.
A one-liner.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. In character and out of character.
In the meantime, here's some music.
I've got something very bad.
You do what you want.
Okay.
I'm just looking at how much threat I've got.
So, everybody, set this up. So it's a 5-second timer on. Okay. So. So I want the sphere launching in 15 seconds.
Okay.
And then in 5 seconds, I'll hail her. And then 5 seconds after, while speaking, I'll be pressing that button.
Okay. Back on the sphere. I assume you're on the sphere, aren't you? I've lost track of where you are.
No, well, Wacom, I think, is on the ship with us because he's going to be.
Okay.
He's supposed to be navigating. I think.
Navigating.
Yeah.
You gave the
Although he can do that more easily from the sphere.
Yeah, I'll say. I thought you were going to control because that's the easiest place to control it from.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry,
okay.
just Evie keeps barking at me. So
That's fine. Oh yes,
Easily.
That's Brian's little doggy, and she's disturbingly cute.
yeah, she is. Well, she's disturbing at the moment. Yes.
But in the sphere control room, the VI gets your attention. Lieutenant Wacom, I have been busy plotting a course based on the new information that you have provided for me. I believe I have selected 4 possible locations that would be adequate to your needs from the data that you have provided.
Excellent. I'm very impressed by your abilities.
Thank you. It was trivial once the information was provided. Smug face. Would you like to know the possible destinations?
Yes, please.
Destination 1, Beta Quadrant, Shackleton Expanse.
Interesting choice.
Destination 2, Alpha Quadrant, the Badlands. Destination 3, Delta Quadrant, Unimatrix 1.
It gets worse and worse.
No! Please no.
Destination 4, Bendrazi Prime.
Tolek, consultation, please.
Yes, Lieutenant, and Tulloch is just floating in.
Again, he's magnetoing it into the room.
With a knife.
Knives around.
These are now following him around like a little small cloud.
Ooh, we have 4 possible destinations. One is the Badlands. One is what was it? The
Shackleton Expanse.
The Shackleton Expanse. Yeah.
It's basically the area that is between the no man's land between the Federation, Romulan space, and Klingon space.
Right. Yeah. We could go to Unimatrix 1 in Borg territory, or we could go to Bendrazi Prime.
That would seem inadvisable considering the condition our ship will be in. The Shackleton Expanse might provide us with the highest probability of receiving aid from one side or another. And we do have a Romulan citizen on board.
We do. I don't know how to say this without...
Can I insert a metagame thought?
I was about to say, if you're having trouble saying it, say it as Brian rather than as a character. So.
No, that's not it. This is, we're all trying to say something without saying something.
Okay, gotcha.
If we go near Romulan space, we would be approaching the home world of the people we don't really like.
That is correct, but we are not anticipating their imminent arrival with us. We are doing our best to prevent just that.
Okay, if you believe that, if you think that gamble is worth it, then I believe that's what I would choose.
My opinion is that should our plan fail, it would not make a whole lot of difference.
Yeah, so I've just seen what the time.
Alright.
I will say this is going to become a 3-part.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
Cause I've just seen what the time is. And I've just realised there's a big bit coming up that's going to take a little bit more than 10 minutes to go through. So I'm going to sort of hurry things along a little bit so we can finish on time, and then this will become a 3-part time. So.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean that's just Todd's opinion.
Okay. No, this is just Chris saying that. So just
yeah.
Well, actually,
the call is up to the navigator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, Wacom has a lot of respect for Tolek, so that's the destination I choose.
Just to confirm, Shackleton Expanse.
Yes. Yeah. Back to the Alpha Quadrant.
Good. That's what I wanted as well.
The Shackleton Expanse is the Beta Quadrant.
Oh, right. Yeah. Badlands are in the Alpha Quadrant.
Yeah, that's right. It's basically one destination in each quadrant, in effect.
it's not like we can't move again in theory. So there are only limited journeys left, though.
Yeah, there are. You've literally got, not including the one you're about to take, you've got 2 more journeys left.
And if we are lucky, we land near enough that we can call Narendra Station then.
Actually, it might not be a bad idea to waste those journeys, because then this can't be... Just saying.
Ding, ding, ding.
So,
Yeah.
Borg space it is then.
Well, I wasn't saying that.
It's like, yeah, could you pop us down the road? We need some milk.
Just, oh, God. That's pretty much what you're doing. It's like, yeah, can you drop me off first? I need to.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Well, if you think about it, it's the ultimate ride share.
Yeah, but it's not exactly.
Yeah. You can just see like a little Uber U sticker, a gigantic one slapped to the butt of the Dyson sphere.
Oh no, was it the you see it like on the films where, you know, like the taxi cab has like the little flag that goes up.
Yeah. And but then the guy probably wants us to rate it after the journey.
Yeah. How do you rate your journey from one galaxy to another? I encourage
Good ride,
I
smug
encourage
AI.
5 stars.
Well, I reduced the tip because of the psychic disturbances among...
Motherfucker.
And I don't really like the neighborhood it's Triforce too.
I'm just the driver, man. Alright, we're watching. Let's carry on.
Yeah, so, oh my god, I can't believe my bad luck. So, okay, we're all ready. So I hailed.
I'm ready to beam.
There better not be any more delays, Davrin. Do I need to come over and show you how it's done properly?
I'm afraid that won't be necessary. In fact, I'm afraid we can't have... You don't have a right fare. Go!
And I beam.
As you're saying that, she's just like... there is a... You see her wave her hands, and it's like... Don't see any gateway appearing. But that you do start to get reports that the entire Iconian fleet is now firing upon the door.
Like I said, and I beam.
And there's thousands of ships firing at this mile-thick door.
And our bomb phases through the sphere.
Yeah, and the beam works perfectly and the bomb works perfectly.
We're waiting!
And
I'm just trying to decide if I should,
safety.
I'm just trying to decide if I should do something or not. Because I've got 2 options here in my notes.
Is one of them to wait and declare this?
No.
Probably.
I'm going to use all my threats.
Well...
Bomb detonates inside the sphere.
I have a trick up my sleeve too.
You will find out very soon why I'm using my threat. The sphere. You get a report come through from the VI saying something along the lines of, what is going on? What is happening? Why am I being attacked? There's an edge of panic in its voice.
There is a hostile force out that we need to go now.
Have you selected a destination?
Well, have we selected a destination? I bloody hope we have.
Yeah, he did already do that.
Yeah,
right?
I think this has already technically happened because we wouldn't have gone ahead with it.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
You know.
Of course, it's logged in.
You wish to begin emergency jump procedures.
Hammer the button!
Be ready, and the communication ends.
Okay, so redirect all power to shields.
And before we shields up, because
I'm glad I remembered that.
because without shields up we cannot beam, so I need to beam the stuff before we raise the shields.
Right, this is going to be.
I think you already have. I mean, that whole scene was already.
Yeah, the thing is prepared. All it requires is literally the signal. That's what all the roles were before. That was including the. That's why it made it so complicated towards the end, was because you weren't just, you were getting everything positioned just right. If you'd have messed up on that, this bit wouldn't be happening right now.
Okay, I understand. Yeah.
So yeah, shields up, redirecting.
Okay, so you're putting the shields up and you're redirecting. Right, this is going to. It's not going to be exactly the same, but to make sure that you have channeled everything properly, I'm going to ask you to modulate the shields, which in effect this is what you're doing, and this is going to require a control and security assisted by the ship's structure and engineering to make sure that all the modifications and everything else hold in place.
I can do control security.
This is a difficulty of 2.
This is definitely a role for you, and use as much momentum as you want. It's the end of the session anyway.
Yeah.
I'm using 2 momentum. The difficulty was 2, right?
Correct.
No. You know what? No, I roll.
What was the ship, Chris?
Oh, sorry, the ship was. It was modulate shields.
We don't need the ship.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's not bother rolling it then, unless.
Yeah, if unless you want to, you could also remember there is that for complications.
I don't want to give you another complication, really.
So, that's it. But you can always give yourself more momentum. But you're doing right. You're doing fine.
You know what? I think we're back at full anyway, aren't we?
No, we're at 4.
Yeah.
Well, still though.
The shields.
We're going to reset at the end next session.
Although there is a struggle, and the lights across the entire ship dim. For the briefest of moments, every system on the ship fails, and then reboots. Back up, shields, everything is working. All things considered, perfectly fine.
Oh man, the EMH is going to be pissed.
The EMH is on a separate system. He's on an emergency system.
Good.
Yeah, otherwise you'd be getting abuse from him right about that. No, it's like an emergency lighting. He's on a separate system. It's more for, basically if something affects him, it's generally a really, really bad thing. So it's almost like a canary in that regards.
I think he'd very, very pissed at that comparison too.
Like, you do feel that vibration that you had before, and Wacom, you can see that the ship is starting to, the sphere is starting to slowly move. There is an immediate hail coming through. It's like from Ticket.
Press the button, and then
to the control room.
Hmm? Oh yeah, good question. Yeah, to me or to control room?
Fair point.
My mind went blank then, sorry.
Is the hail coming to the Damocles or to the control room?
It's coming to the Damocles, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
To the Damocles, sorry, my bad.
Do you know what? I will take the hail because any information is good information. But I will also be basically pushing the button pretty much the moment I answer the song for that hail.
Hi.
Yeah.
So, the image of Ticket appears on the screen. It's like, I will make you pay for this.
We'll see about that.
And Tira in the background make this.
You see her immediately put her arm up and a gateway appears. And she dives through. Just as the sphere jumps to trans warp.
She's in the sphere somewhere.
Probably.
Because we only protect the control room, there's a whole essential world in this sphere. So
there is.
On the other hand, she's on her own now, so that's better.
There is a jolt as the various tiers of, should we say, speed kick in. Impulse, warp, transwarp, and then whatever the sphere uses to get between the galaxies.
Super transwarp.
Yeah, Uber transport. Uber. There we go. It's Uber.
that was established earlier.
That is very true. It's now canon.
Do we get any readings of the bomb, or is that an unknown?
Just roll a dice for me. Just a d20.
What is that noise? Is that you squeaking on your chair, Chris?
That's not me. That's not me.
I think that was me with my cable. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, just roll straight to a 20 because I want to see if you've got what I rolled on my dice here to determine whether or not you see it.
I hope that's...
Okay. Whilst you don't get a clear picture, you do see that there is now a big chunk of subspace missing in your wake. You don't know what it did to when it does deflate, but you do know that the bomb successfully went off. And that part of space is now pretty much uninhabitable. The journey across the void between the galaxies is about as fast as it was before. As you approach the Milky Way in your sphere, you feel that there's another jolt. And Wacom, you see that the speed reading rapidly increases. This is, whereas before to use, what I'm going to call Uber Warp. No, we're going ludicrous speed now. We're going tartan. Everything's gone tartan. But once again, as you approach the Milky Way, Tolek especially, you feel this with your heightened psionic senses. You almost feel something probing at your mind, but all of you feel like something is watching you. But Tolek, you feel as if something is trying to get into your mind.
Focusing very hard right now.
Okay, I'm going to get you to roll something now. This is going to be what would this be? Because this is to sort of represent your own. Okay, it's going to be control, but I'm going to allow you to either pick science or medicine for this one.
Ah, well, let's go with science here.
Yes.
And I'm gonna use 2 momentum because we have them.
Okay, this is going to be a difficulty 3.
Yeah, definitely. Give me 3 momentum, please.
Okay.
Yeah, and let's see what happens. Fuck it!
Okay, no, that's actually. I'm going to immediately use that.
Alright.
I'm not going to bank it because of what's going to happen next.
Right.
You punch through the galactic barrier, and even in your heightened state, even though the shields are up, you feel as if you just grabbed an electrical live wire. It's not the sort of thing that you think will kill you, but it's definitely that's unpleasant sensation. But the rest of you, for the most part, feel fine. You do feel a little bit of a pressure on your brain, in your mind, but not enough to sort of, like it was before, like your mind was being torn apart almost. This is more of a sort of a gentle prod. But eventually, you do feel the sphere start to slow down from ludicrous speed to ridiculous speed to transwarp to warp, and then boom. I forgot what it's called now. Impulse speeds. Impulse speeds, yes.
We all flop forward in our chair.
No, there isn't. You don't actually feel it. There's surprisingly.
Oh, come on, it's a Starfleet show.
Oh,
we have to.
One is like, it's like Lieutenant Ricky's like
Star Trek
scattered over, and one of the things has exploded. It's like, no, if the captain was present, he would have ended up with his head in the fish bowl or something. But most of your senses are pretty much fried. So the subspace shunt, for whatever you want to call it, now dies. You have no warp core, you have no shields, and you're effectively flying blind.
And an unknown number of Iconians around us.
And then suddenly, the sensor grid does start to come back slowly. You feel like the sphere is in a way trying to sort of, it's almost like you're linking into the sphere's rudimentary sensors. It's not particularly great because obviously it couldn't tell the Iconians was outside, but it's enough to sort of read the positions of the stars and things like that. And there's no doubt you are currently in the Milky Way, in what appears to be the Shackleton Expanse.
Are our communication systems still
The
working?
communication systems are a bit, but they're working.
Right.
The ship's taken a battering, even though it's been protected. There's a lot of information that pretty much got dumped into it, plus all the jury rigging that's been done. Basically, things have become fried a little bit, so they're a little bit temperamental until they can be properly fixed.
Do you want to end it there, or?
Oh no, there's one more thing that's coming up.
I was going to hail Starbase 360.
Okay, go on. If you want to hail, go ahead.
Yeah. Open up a communication channel to us.
There's no response.
Well, so much for the idea of reinforcement.
So much of the idea of having someone getting us a new warp core.
Yeah, I didn't want to make you feel bad, so I wasn't. Yeah.
Wacom, there isn't something you notice on your screen. I'm assuming by this point you're communicating with the Damocles on the control board. You see that just outside the sphere is a large build-up of tachyons.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Hailing frequencies and rumblings.
You hear a beep hail communication come through. Hopefully this will work. Please don't. No, don't look at that. Ignore that.
Ignore the man behind the curtain.
Ignore that.
What the fuck?
No.
Oh, you are evil, Chris. You are evil.
There is another hail comes through. This time seems to be marked urgent.
I hate you.
Oh my god, that was my idea, wasn't it? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I answer the hail.
On the screen, you see
I did for Stewards.
you see I can't remember what I describe her to look like. I don't think your characters know what she looks like.
Oh, good. This might not be my fault.
No, I'm trying to think what I described her. She's Vulcan. Looks a bit like old Commander Tsing, almost. But slightly darker skin. But you notice something, a Borg implant about her eye. Just about sort of there, like 7 of 9 style. Welcome home. She just grins. She's like, don't you bow before your empress? And that's where we're going to end it for the night.
Wait. Oh no, we went there.
Yeah, we are there now.
Yep.
Oh, why?
We went through them looking.
Oh, this is your fault.
But
You were our navigator, Ral.
yeah, it's all my fault.
I took you to the Shackleton Expanse. And that's what I used all my threat for.
Sorry.
We can deal with that. We can deal with that.
As I said, this is
Look, we just bluffed a cat. We can bluff the episode for like 5 minutes anyway.
Yeah,
We have
but
no walk. We have no walk calls.
we are fresh out of
shields.
farm.
But I love that you're using the Imperial flagship.
Oh, honestly, despite its flaws, when I saw that on Discovery, it's like, oh.
Yeah. The second half of Discovery first season with that is genius.
It's a show that has grown on me. It has its flaws, but it's grown on me.
It has many flaws, but it's also a good series. I'm very conflicted about Discovery.
Yes, I mean that. Ooh, ooh.
Well, the second series did quite a lot to actually start smoothing over some of the major flaws.
I am cautiously optimistic for season 3. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But with that, I'm going to bid you all a good night because I'm feeling a little bit rough, and we will be continuing this, and it will be a part 3 now in 2 weeks' time, where they've gone through the looking glass.
Yeah, I was going to ask for a scene. We're not going to need it now. We're in such a high situation. So,
Live long and prosper.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
live long and prosper. Oh, jeez.